Hi again, thanks for tuning in to Math with Mullins. Today our notes are going to be over Lesson 5, Reading and Drawing Line Graphs. For your notes today, you're going to want to label your notes this title, and then you're also going to write down 7 questions, and what you're going to be doing is answering those 7 topics. What you're going to be seeing on the slides where you have to do questions or answer something about a line graph, you're going to see this yellow circle around the number. The first one, I've given you an idea. The first one's going to ask you to find the definition of line graphs, and then the slides on questions 2 through 7 are just going to be answering things about line graphs or predicting what's going to happen based on what's already been going on through that line graph. Let's go ahead and get started. First thing you're going to do is go ahead and pause. This first one is number 1, so you go ahead and pause the video and write down the definition. Once you're done, click play and head on back to us. Next thing we're going to look at is just estimating what's going to happen on line graphs. This one talks about food prices. It says the average retail price for a loaf of bread for the years 1996 to 2004 is shown in the graph below. Predict the price of a loaf of white bread in 2010. So just estimating what it's kind of done. It dipped down a little bit and then went back up for 2001, 2002. So what do you think it's going to be between for the year 2010? 2010 is going to be on this last line here. Go ahead and pause the video, predict with your partner what you think the answer is to number 2. Click play when you're ready to answer question 3. Number 3 talks about an income line graph. The average income for full-time employees of a large corporation for the years 1995 to 2004 is shown in the graph to the right. Predict the average income in 2008. Again, noticing what the trend's doing from this line would be 1995 all the way over. 2008's over here, so what level of numbers or average salary would you think would be in 2008? Once you're done, after pausing the video, go ahead and click play, come back to us, make sure you're comparing answers with your partner. Number 4 talks about bowling. The graph at the right shows the number of participants in bowling from 1975 to 2000. What does the graph tell you about the popularity of bowling? So you're answering this question for number 4. Pause the video, talk to your neighbor what you think about it, and then go ahead and click play to come back to question number 5. Number 5 talks about the county fair. The graph at the right shows the attendance at a county fair from 1985 to 2005. What does the graph tell you about the popularity of the fair? Again, pausing the video, thinking out loud with your neighbor, writing your answer down, and then clicking play when you're ready for question number 6. Part 2 of our notes is actually going to be constructing a line graph. You're actually just going to watch me do this one, and then you will be able to try the next one on your own. The next one you'll try will be question 6. I'm going to enter the average temperatures of Raleigh, North Carolina on the line graph and show you how it's going to be done. The first thing you want to do is label the X and the y-axis of your line graph. Notice I have January through June, which are the months that I'm focusing on the x-axis, and the degrees going up in even intervals, 10, 20, 30, 40, all the way to 110 on the y-axis. It is very important that the axes that you choose have to have even intervals. The other thing you need to keep in mind is there is low temperature and there's also a section for high temperature. So what probably will need to happen is the low temperature will be shown with a normal line and the high temperature will be shown with a dotted line, or maybe even using a square colored in instead of a dot. I'm going to go ahead and record all the low temperatures and the high temperatures. Here are all the low temperatures recorded. Notice how I recorded each of the low temperatures using a solid line and a dot for each of the place values. Let's go ahead and look at the high temperatures. Here are the values for all the high temperatures. Since this line graph is a double line graph, which means I'm showing two sets of different data, I need to differentiate between the low temperatures, which is the solid line, and the dots or the circles used for each temperature value. And then for the high temperatures, I use a dotted line with squares to show those dotted values. Make sure you keep that in mind for this next slide. So here's your question number 6. You are going to make a line graph with your partner. Notice that it's a little bit different. It's talking about Charlotte, North Carolina. Kind of the same concept though. You're trying to do low temperatures and high temperatures for the months January through June. So I would probably establish low temperatures that might have a solid line with circles. High temperatures might have a dotted line with squares. Go ahead and pause the video to take time and draw your line graph with your partner. Once you're done, go ahead and click play to see the last slide before you're ready for homework. Here's your final question, and you're just going to write down the answer for number 7. Which type of graph uses a line to show the relationship of two sets of data? Go ahead and write down your answer. If you need to, you can pause the video to talk about it with your neighbor, but you might not need to talk about it. Now that you're done, make sure that you have numbers 1 through 7 filled out on your notes. You're going to bring me your notes so that I can check them, and then I'll give you your homework as soon as you have everything that's listed correctly. Just remember that your homework tonight is completing that worksheet on line graphs. Thanks for tuning in.